So we left the last version of Pong where we're able to do the scoring. So whenever the ball hits the paddle, we get a point, and you can see the point appearing here in the frame pointer, and it also appears in the memory, a memory location. Whenever we get to 2, the game is finished, and that's just the end of the game. Now what we want to do is spruce things up a little bit. So there's a couple of things that we're going to do in this video. So the main focus of the video is that whenever a game started up from the old games from like the 1980s, we would have a picture on the screen. Now we're not going to put a picture on the screen. We could actually do that, but we're not doing that for the moment. We're going to just put the name of the game. So we're going to put Pong, okay, written across the screen. And then we're going to wait until there's a key press. So the key press is S for start or serve. And then the Pong will disappear. And then we'll start the game. And then when the game is finished, rather than just being the end of the game, it will come up and it will say game over across the screen. Now there's another thing we're going to add into the game. I'm not going to mention what it is. We'll wait until we see it, okay? And then we can talk about it whenever it happens. So something exciting to look forward to. So let's go in and we'll have a look at the Visual Studio Code editor. So we have looked at Pong 13 underscore scoring. That was the last one that we did. Now this next one is going to be Pong 14. Now I couldn't think of a good name, so I just called it Pong 14 Game Over. Okay, so again we're going to only talk through the changes, and I've noted the changes here in the actual code. So all of these symbolic constants you see here are all the same. There's only 2 being added. So okay, so the new constants, one is gr underscore drawstring. Now I've not talked very much about the font which I generated for the machine. I need to go through like a small course to show you how the whole font program works. Okay, so we can't do that during the Pong, but I've still to generate that. Okay, so I will generate that sometime soon. But all we need to know is we've got this graphics routine and it's called drawString, and it draws whatever string we want onto the graphics screen. Okay, and this is the location of it. Now there's another one, symbolic constant, and it's just the color red because we're going to do the game over in red. Okay, so this stuff here is all new. You see it says new in Pong 14. So we're going to have the start screen. So the start screen is quite straightforward. If we come all the way down to the bottom of the code, okay, so at the very bottom of the code, we're going to have the dot data. Okay, so the dot data, I've picked a position 0 cross B000, a position in the RAM. So the first one is define storage, and it's the score, and it's got 1 memory location. Okay, now the other 2 are for the game over and Pong. So we can do the define constant, and it's called game underscore over underscore message, and the message is just simply game over. Okay, and then the other one is the start message, which is Pong. Okay, so this is how we write them out in our assembler. So if we come back up here, you can see that each of these is we're just putting information into one of the registers. So the very first one is the message. So the message, start message, goes into register R0. So the start message is Pong. Okay, and it goes into register R0. Okay, and it will go in 1 letter at a time, and the assembler will do the ASCII code for that, and it will put it into the register. Now the next one is going to be the X position, and it's relative to the center of the screen. Okay, so it's going to be -42 in the X position, and it's going to be -8 in the Y position. So it's somewhere down here in the screen. Okay, and it's going to be the bottom corner of the first letter of the word Pong. And then we're going to have the next one here, which is the size. So we can have 3 different sizes of letters. Okay, so number 3 is the large, so it's going to be a large size. and then we're going to have the color, which will be green, and then the next one is an orientation, so we can orient it in 45-degree angles, okay, but it doesn't work completely with all the letters, so I'm still kind of working on that a little bit. So what we can do is we won't bother rotating the letters. We will just keep the non-rotation, which is 0. So that's basically us set up everything here in order to draw something onto the screen, and then we jump to the subroutine, which is gr_draw_string, which is this address here, which is a position in the ROM, which is the graphics library position within the ROM that contains this particular subroutine. So once it's done this, it will draw out Pong across the screen, and then it's got to wait, and it's not going to do anything at all. It's just going to continually go through a waiting process, waiting for us to press the small s, okay, S for start, if you like, or serve. So once we've pressed the key, what we're going to do is we're going to work backwards again. So we've got to clear off the Pong. Now we clear off the Pong by writing Pong again in black. Okay, so that's how we do that, and we go through the same process here, and it just clears off the Pong. So that's all that's really different in this. Okay, so if we look at the rest of the code here, everything's all exactly the same as the previous version. There's not actually really any difference. So we'll keep coming down here until we can see. Now this is where we've got this extra little thing that I've added in. So what we really want to do is whenever the ball hits the paddle, okay, there's the paddle there, and when the ball hits the paddle, we want it to beep, because in Pong it goes beep, and we could get it to make a different noise when it beeped off the wall, but we've not done that so far. We just want to beep it when it hits the paddle. So every time it hits the paddle, it's going to go beep. So we've got this thing here, ball hit paddle. So when it hits the paddle, we jump to subroutine beep. Okay, so there's going to be a subroutine here called beep. And there's the beep subroutine here. Okay, so in order for us to use the beep, I don't want to get into it in a lot of detail. We don't have a functionality within this logicism that we use to generate any noise. So I've gone ahead and written a Java bit of Java code, which in effect creates a logisim little beep device. Okay, now it's beyond the scope of this particular video series for me to get into how I did that, okay? And it's not a cop-out, but we are allowed to generate some of the components, because this RTM-16J, J stands for Java, is the fast machine, okay? It's the machine that we're allowed to go ahead and we can replace components with quick Java programming, because we've already proven the circuits previously with the normal RTM-16. So now we're in the RTM-16J, which is a software, in effect, version of the RTM-16, if you like. Okay, so I've gone ahead and generated that. I'll do another little course as well on how to generate these Java instances, okay? But it's beyond this for what we have at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to use register R0 for the beep, okay? But register R0 might be actually in use. So what we're going to do is we'll push the existing value of register R0 onto the bus, and then we're going to load in the memory mapped I/O position for the sound card. So the memory mapped I/O position for the sound card is 0 cross triple F1. Okay, so what this does is it goes to the 0 cross triple F1. Okay, and it in effect, if we look at it in the here, if we drop in, now in here we've got this extra. Well, we had this circuitry here, but I've now called it sound, okay? Now, this is the 0, okay, and this is the 1, okay? So whenever that value goes to 1, we don't go up to the ROM or the RAM, okay? We don't go up to the ROM or the RAM. These are the memory mapped I/O positions, and they're determined by this decoder here. So what we do is we go to this little sound card, and it's really simple because it's just the same, really relative, the same as the keyboard. So if we drop in here, now I don't want to go into any circuit details here, but in effect, if we were to run through this here, we'll do an actual run through at this level. So if the clock has gone high, the enable has gone high. Now, whenever we choose this particular card, we choose the particular card here by making this address 1, and you'll hear at that point the little beep will go. Okay, so hopefully, if I turn the volume up maybe a bit. So hopefully you heard that. Okay, I can run through, it'll go to 16, and it'll go to, and we get a little beep. Okay, so we are actually able to now generate sounds in this, but it's very, very simple sounds. Okay, it's just that single beep. So when we go back to the code here, whenever it's done the beep, it then takes the value that was in register R0 and it pops it back off, so everything's back to the way it was. Okay, so that's the only change there for the sound, and I think everything else is well, here's the game over bit. Okay, so we can come down, and whenever the game's finished, rather than the game just ending, we jump to this game over subroutine, and the game over subroutine, again, it just simply types the game over using the draw string command. Okay, and whenever it's done that, that's basically the end of the program. So there's not a huge amount of difference in this. The main things are just the game over and the Pong and the nice little beep, but we will go through a little course on how to do the Java instances here within the Logisim, but we can't do it here. Now what we'll do is we'll go terminal run task assemble file, and it's assembled successfully. We can get in, and we will edit contents, and we'll open, and it's Pong 14. So let's get to Pong 14 game over. Okay, close window, design user panel, simulate, and we'll go tick enabled. Okay, so whenever I press this go, we should get Pong across the screen. So now we've got Pong. So it's starting to look like a kind of game. Okay, so nothing's going to happen until we get into the keyboard and we press S for start. So now we've pressed S for start, it clears off the Pong, and we're ready to play the game. Now again, in the next video, I'll show you how we can speed everything up so that whenever we do these simulations, we're actually working at a much faster rate. But if we hear for the beep, so there we go. That's us got sound. Now we'll do the next one. So we only need to get to 2, and when we get to 2 in the scoring, which is in the frame pointer there, it should come up with the game over, and then that's the end of the game. So if you give me a wee second here to focus on the game here, to make sure that I actually hit the little ball. This is awkward because it's coming right down to the corner, so am I going to get this? It's going to come bouncing back up. And that's the end of the game. So we now got the game over. And when it's written game over, that should be the end. Now, we probably won't stick with this Pong and the game over writing as it is. It takes a little bit longer to do it, so to actually write it up on the screen. So what we really want to do is initially want it to come up with Pong, okay, but only once, and then we can play as many games as we want, okay, and whenever we finish up playing all the games, at the very end, when we decide just to finish, we can have a stop, okay, and then it will come up with game over. because it takes too long for us to type the game over. Another thing we want to do is we don't want to control it. We want to be able to control the game, but we want to be able to control the game from the keyboard input. Okay, so meaning that we're going to write stuff on the text screen, and the text screen will tell us how to control the game, what the keys are, and so on and so forth. But again, that's for a different video. So that's all for this video. I hope this was of value. We're starting to get some games together in the RTM-16J, which is really quite cool. So thank you for listening. I'll get you on the next video. Goodbye.